Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about the deep cervical fascia. Deep cervical fascia, this is transverse section of the neck, and here we have got the sagittal section of the neck. In transverse section of the neck we can see this red color. This is deep investing layer of the deep cervical fascia, as it is investing the whole neck in the form of a collar. Then we have got this yellow one. This is the prevertebral layer of the deep fascia, because this is the vertebra and surrounding muscle. So this layer is actually surrounding the vertebra and their surrounding muscles. That's why it is called prevertebral layer. Then we have got this light blue color. Here you can see this light blue color. This is actually pretracheal layer. Pretracheal layer is further subdivided into two parts: muscular part and the visceral part. The visceral part is surrounding this light blue, is surrounding the thyroid gland, trachea and esophagus, whereas muscular part, these are infrahyoid muscle. If you look carefully, we have got light purple color. Fascia actually surrounding these infrared muscles, so it is called muscular part of the pretracheal layer. So pretracheal layer, in actual, it has got two layers: muscular parts which are surrounding the infrared muscle, then visceral part which is surrounding the viscera like thyroid gland, trachea and esophagus. Then we have got turquoise green. These are the carotid sheets. These carotid sheets are actually, they are condensation of deep fascia around the certain structures like internal carotid artery, common carotid artery, vagus nerve and the internal jugular vein. So first of all, these investing layer, red one investing layer, actually you can see it is surrounding whole neck in the form of collar. So this is sternocleidomastoid, or this is trapezius on both sides behind, and this is sternocleidomastoid. As you can see, this investing layer splits to invest the sternocleidomastoid on one side, then it unites again, then again it splits to involve wrap the sternocleidomastoid. So at four corners, this deep fascia splits in to wrap sternocleidomastoid anteriorly and trapezius muscle posteriorly. And then it has got certain attachments, as you see. And this is superiorly, it is attached to the external or superior knuckle line, and then mastoid process, and then angle of base of the mandible, and anteriorly the hyoid bone. Here is the cut section. uh, you know um, mm, I would be uploading another video in which I would show you the attachments of the investing layer on a skeleton. So inferiorly, this layer attaches posteriorly to the uh, you know um, spine of the scapula, then acromion process, then clavicle, then sternum anteriorly. At the sternum, here you see it actually splits into two layers: inferiorly, anterior and posterior, and they attach onto the anterior and posterior border of the sternum respectively, so that we have got small triangular space between these two anterior and posterior attachments. This is called suprasternal space of Burns. And then we have got prevertebral layer. This is prevertebral layer, yellow one. Here you can see it is surrounding the vertebra and is surrounding muscle. Superiorly attached to the base of the skull, and inferiorly it is peripherally it is attached to the endothoracic fascia, and in the midline on the vertebral column it is attached to the anterior longitudinal ligament. Then we have got this blue one pretracheal layer, which we already discussed, has got two layer: visceral layer. Here you see investing the viscera. Then it has got muscular layer, which actually invest the infrahyoid muscles. So this is hyoid bone. They attach superiorly to the hyoid bone, and here you can see the Muscular part of the pretracheal layer attaches itself to the posterior sternal border. So any infection occurring between this red one and this purple one, between these two layers, which are investing layer of the deep fascia and the muscular layer of the pretracheal layer, any infection occurring between these two layers would limit itself to the superior border of the sternum, whereas any infection occurring between the visceral and muscular layer, here you can see the white area, it could the infection could enter the superior mediastinum. This here you can see the visceral layer, it is merging with the fibrous pericardium. Then we have got, this is buccopharyngeal membrane, which is attaching posteriorly to the pretracheal layer. Behind this light green or parrot green color, behind this light green and this yellow, we have got retropharyngeal space. It is actually potential space which is further divided into two parts by means of a alar fascia. This thin purple line here you can see alar fascia, and alar fascia in midline here at this particular point is it is attaches itself to the buccopharyngeal fascia. So this buccopharyngeal fascia here, this is this is buccopharyngeal fascia, and here we have got alar fascia. Alar fascia and buccopharyngeal fascia at C7 level, they merge with each other here at this point. So any infection occurring between these two layers, it would be limited inferiorly to C7 vertebra. So here again you see the anterior longitudinal ligament. These are vertebrae and this is anterior longitudinal ligament. And here you see the prevertebral layer of the deep fascia. It will merge itself to the anterior longitudinal ligament at T3 vertebra at this point. So any infection occurring between these two layers would limit itself as far as to the T3. It cannot go further beyond this point, as these two layers are merging to each other at T3 level. Whereas this is alar fascia and prevertebral layer with this yellow area here, this is actually retropharyngeal space, which is called the dangerous space, because inferiorly there is nothing to limit the infection. So that's why this here infection can spread as far as the mediastinum. And then we have got here, we have got these turquoise green. These are actually carotid sheath. Carotid sheath anterior laterally is, it will merge with the investing layer, and anterior medially it will merge with the visceral layer of the pretracheal fascia, and posteriorly it will merge itself to the prevertebral layer. So they actually start surrounding the jugular foramen, and they have got certain contents. Here medially you can see, anterior medially we have got internal carotid artery and common carotid artery, whereas anterior laterally we have got internal jugular vein, and there between these two structures there is a small gap, and where actually vagus nerve lies. So we have got some lymph nodes beside these structures as a content of carotid sheath. Then periarterial sympathetic plexus also part of this carotid sheath. So this was brief about the cervicoaxillary fascia. This is actually extension of this yellow layer, cervicoaxillary sheath, extension of this yellow layer. So any infection in this prevertebral space, it can bulge into the, it can reach up into the axilla, and it can bulge itself in the posterior triangle behind the posterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Thank you very much.